Hello and welcome back to Matt A's Tottenham blog and to another Premier League team news video. The Premier League is returning this weekend after the first international break of the season, and Tottenham welcome Crystal Palace to North London on a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. So Tottenham have in the last hour or so released the official team news from this game, and it's pretty much what we were expecting. There's not too many surprises in it. But before I get into that, if you want more content like this, plus interactive live streams, match previews and reviews, please don't forget to subscribe down below. I'll be releasing my match preview for this game against Palace tomorrow, so again, if you don't want to miss that, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload. So, Tottenham started this team news announcement with going into 4 players who have returned to training and are being assessed for selection for the game on Saturday. The first one is Tanguy Ndombele, who has missed our last 2 Premier League games after picking up a thigh injury in training before the game against Newcastle. He also missed the international break with France, and it's great now that he's back in contention to be in the starting 11. I think if he is fit, he'll go straight back in there. We've missed him, especially in that Newcastle game, but obviously a bit in that Arsenal game as well. So it'll be great to see him getting straight back into that team. The second player is Sessegnon. Of course, we signed him from Fulham on deadline day, but he had a hamstring injury when we brought him in. That was known. It wasn't a surprise when we got him. But he's being assessed for selection. I think if he is fit, we won't see him starting the game. I doubt Pochettino would opt for that. But it would be great if he is fit to see him come on as a late substitute and maybe be eased back into the team, kind of like Pochettino had started to do with Giovanni Lo Celso, and hopefully we can see a good performance from him. Now, the third player who's returned to training is Kyle Walker-Peters. He, of course, picked up an injury in that defeat to Newcastle, and our right back kind of misery continued with Juan Foyth and Sergio Aurier were already absent, and we ended up having to play Davinson Sanchez in that game against Arsenal 2 weeks ago. Now, look, Sanchez, it wasn't the best performance in the world, but I think for a centre-back, having to go out there against the pace of the Arsenal lineup, I think he did pretty well, but obviously he's not the ideal choice for that, and it would be great if we can get Kyle Walker-Peters back into the team. Eric Dyer has also returned to training. It was yet another injury for him. He's suffered so much in the last couple of years with all these injuries, and it's really unfortunate because when he does get into the team, for the most part, he is a quality player, but he's really suffered in the last couple of seasons, but he is in contention to play against Crystal Palace on Saturday. Now, we already knew about Giovanni Lo Celso. He picked up a hip injury in Argentina's friendly against Chile last Friday. He won't be fit for this game. Tottenham said in their announcement earlier in the week that he'll be returning to training late October. He's going to immediately go into rehabilitation, and it could be 6 to 8 weeks before we see him back in the starting 11. A massive blow with the start of the Champions League and the EFL Cup coming up. Look, there's nothing we can do about it now. It's the international break curse for Tottenham, striking as usual. Unfortunately, Lo Celso has been the latest victim of that. Just as he was starting to be eased into that team, a really good performance for what he did play against Arsenal, but he won't be there for the next 2 months. Now, Davinson Sanchez, this is probably the only surprise coming out of this team news announcement. He's complaining of irritation in his ankle following his international duties with Colombia over the last week or so. He's being assessed, but there's no news of whether he will or won't be available for the game. I'm sure it'll be a case of a late fitness test for him. If he isn't fit, it wouldn't be the biggest blow in the world. Obviously, if Kyle Walker-Peters doesn't come in, if he's not able to start, then it'll cause a bit of a problem. But if we do have a fit right back, Sanchez isn't the biggest miss because we do have Alderweireld and Vertonghen. We would expect to start in this game after Vertonghen's reintroduction into the first team in that game against Arsenal. But you never like to see a player out injured, but there will be a lot worse kind of potential injuries than him. And Juan Foyth is the final player. They say he's concluding the late stages of conditioning following his own ankle injury, which he picked up, of course, in that game against, I think it was Bayern Munich in the Audi Cup in pre-season. He won't be fit for this game, but he's getting really close to being back into training, and I imagine it'll only be a couple of weeks before we see him back in the starting 11. Don't forget to leave down in the comments below what you think about this team news and your predicted 11 for the game on Saturday. As I said, I'm going to be releasing my match preview tomorrow. I'll be going through my predicted lineup, my predicted scoreline, and where I think we can hurt Crystal Palace on the day. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and if you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button down below and click that notification bell. Thanks for watching.